Hello. Today, let's talk about one type of questions of critical reasoning, which is strengthening the argument questions. Strengthening the argument, as it seems, see, we know what a critical reasoning question look like. It starts with a premise. There might be additional premises, there could be a counter premise. Again, there will be a conclusion in questions which are more to do with strengthening the argument. What we have to do is that find out the loopholes in the argument. Even if there is a premise and a counter premise and an additional premise, the conclusion might not be all inclusive. The conclusion would still have a small loophole which we need to fill using one of the options. That is where the question of strengthening the argument comes in. While doing strengthening the argument, we need to put the perspective in place that the conclusion needs these many premises to be there, out of which we are able to find all of them but one. That one will be lying in the options. That is strengthening the argument. The kind of questions that will come, or the endings, would be like this. Which one of the following most strengthens the argument? Which one of the following most strongly supports the statement or the conclusion above? Which of the following, if true, does most to justify the conclusion? These are the question stems of strengthening questions. Let's look at one example. This is about an advertisement. At most jewelry stores, the person assessing the diamond is the person selling it. So you can see why an assessor might say that a diamond is of higher quality than it really is. But because all diamonds sold at Gem World are certified in writing, you are assured of a fair price when purchasing a diamond from Gem World. The reasoning in the advertisement would be most strengthened if which one of the following are true. We try to understand the argument here. He says is very rational, that most jewelry stores, the person assessing the diamond is the person selling it. So we are not really sure of the quality. But those diamonds sold at Gem World are certified in writing, and therefore you are assured of a fair price. Not a perfect all-inclusive conclusion. We'll need one more argument, or we'll need one more premise. Let's look for the options. First one says many jewelry stores other than Gem World also provide written certification. That is not what we are looking forward to. If others are doing, does not mean I can generalize here. This would be improper generalization and still not sufficient enough for a conclusion. Therefore, the first one is rejected. Second, the certifications of diamonds at Gem World are written by people with years of experience. How much does that guarantee the quality? Experience is different. Working with quality is different. This option goes for a toss. Third one, the diamonds sold at Gem World are generally of higher quality than those sold at other jewelry stores. So what if they are of higher quality? The conclusion still is you are assured of a fair price while purchasing a diamond. We don't know, even if the quality is better, is the price fair? We move to the option D. The diamond market is so volatile that prices of the most expensive diamonds can change by hundreds of dollars from one day to the next. Useless data, as if we are being helped by some way. This option goes for a toss again. We are left with just one. By default, it ought to be right. We'll still try putting some logic into it. The written certifications of diamonds at Gem World are provided by an independent company. This is all we wanted. Because in the passage we are talking about some vested interests and the fact that assessors selling it. Here at Gem World, when they are saying that they are providing certifications, if they come from an independent source, we are done for the argument that the price would be fair. This statement helps us conclude, and therefore this can be called as the option that strengthens the argument. Let's take up another example. It's about a statement by a statistician. A financial magazine claimed that its survey of its subscribers showed that North Americans are more concerned about their personal finances than about politics. One question was, which do you think more about, politics or the joy of earning money? This question is clearly biased. Also, the readers of the magazine are a self-selecting sample. Thus, there is reason to be skeptical about the conclusion drawn in the magazine's survey. Very clearly a flawed argument. Let's look at the question. Each of the following, if true, would strengthen the statistician's argument except. See, assessing the question here, firstly it is reasonably funny because the question asked to the readers is, what do you think about more, politics or the joy of earning money? The word joy of is going to surely polarize the readers. On the other hand, very clearly mentioned is that the question is biased. The readers are also a self-selecting sample. So we are not really sure who is picking up, who is going to assess, who will be a part of the survey. Author's conclusion is that there is reason to be skeptical about the conclusion, and we have to go ahead, find the options which are strengthening, eliminate all those options which are strengthening, and the one which is left out is what we have to find, and therefore the usage of the word except. Tricky question because we have to assess every option. The first one, the credibility of the magazine has been called into question on a number of occasions. The credibility has been called into question a number of occasions. This will make us skeptical. This is strengthening the argument. First option is strengthening, not the answer. Second, the conclusions drawn in most magazine surveys have eventually been disproved. Might force us a little to think on those lines of going ahead and strengthening the argument with this, because this faintly strengthens, because most of the surveys have been disproved. This could also be one of them. Third one, other surveys suggest that North Americans are just as concerned about politics as they are about finances. This also means that the readers or the ones who have surveyed are a polarized one, and therefore it is biased. So C is going to strengthen the argument. D, there is reason to be skeptical about the results of surveys that are biased and unrepresentative. Because this is biased and this is unrepresentative of the whole reader set, there is reason to be skeptical. Yes, it is strengthening the argument. All the four have strengthened the argument. Let's look at the fifth one. Other surveys suggest that North Americans are concerned not only about politics and finances but also with social issues, bringing in an angle which we did not think about so far. Neither strengthening nor weakening. I don't know where the argument is going. This is what we are looking out for. The option E becomes the correct answer. If I reiterate what is to be done in strengthening the argument, think about the premise, think about the conclusion. You will surely find a small loophole. Look out for the options where the loophole can be found, which will directly fit along with the premise to help you strengthen the conclusion. That is called strengthening the argument. Happy reading.